talk is available on the website, so don't worry about taking a lot of notes. Growing through it. A journey from panic to powerful. If you are an LMS patient, you're all anxiety experts, yes? Right? Okay. But did you know you're also trauma experts? Because trauma is caused by intense feelings of terror and vulnerability. For example, being a victim of a life-threatening disease or event or crime or an accident. Cancer is just as traumatizing. Your life is threatened. Oh no. Scanxiety, panic, anxiety, helplessness, vulnerable, terror. You're shaky, you're terrified, you can't stop thinking the worst. And why can't you control this? The answer is deep inside your primitive brain. The amygdala. Inside your brain is the amygdala. It's a small emotional part of the brain connected to the brainstem. It's that little egg-shaped thing. And notice it's right next to the brainstem. They talk to each other. They have a lot of connections between them. So your brainstem controls your basic functioning like breathing, eating, and sleeping. The amygdala is your internal watchdog for danger. I think of it as a nervous chihuahua. But its job is to alert you to danger. And then the prefrontal cortex is where you do your rational higher thinking. It came later in our evolution. And all of this prepares you for fight, flight, or freeze reflexes. In primitive times, these were very helpful. Not so great now. Okay, so I have a little demo. Hold up your hand. All right, so this is going to be your brain. Your wrist is your brainstem, okay? It controls your breathing and all the things you don't have to think about. It takes care of your sleeping, your eating, your hunger, everything like that. And now your amygdala is your thumb, folded in. That's the emotional part. That's your chihuahua. And then your higher thinking brain, your cortex, is your fingers. So wrap it around. That's what it looks like, your brain. And when your amygdala finds a threat, it goes off. Boom! And you flip your lid. Your thinking is offline. So we call that the amygdala hijack. When your amygdala is going off, you can't think. You haven't experienced that, have you? Your basic instincts take over. So, fight, flight, or freeze. In primitive times, you'd be socializing with your tribe down in that green area, and all of a sudden, boom, there's a tiger. The amygdala signals, bark, bark, bark. Adrenaline rushes through your body, your heart pumps, your pupils dilate, breathing is quick, you get sweaty, your body is preparing to fight that tiger, or flight, run and hide from that tiger, or freeze, the most intense reaction to a threat. When the threat is gone, you return to normal, and you can think again, problem solve, and socially engage with others. How long do you think it takes for the adrenaline to go out of your body? Want to guess? For something short, like you get scared. 25 minutes? 24 hours? Anywhere from, let me see what my notes say. Anywhere from 18 minutes to 4 hours long. So that's why you can stay shaky for a lot longer, okay? And of course, the longer the threat, the longer you would have adrenaline going through you. So example for today, example with fight would be if someone said something that threatened you today, your amygdala would start to bark. Fight, you feel defensive, you get angry, maybe you blow up, you might attack back. Flight, you may leave the room because you need your space. Freeze, you just go blank. You're in shock, maybe you're speechless. This all happens because of the amygdala hijack. You are without your rational thinking brain. And then when you return to normal, you might apologize, you might problem solve, be open and compassionate, and do some social engaging. For cancer patients, this might look like when you're feeling unsafe, fight. You might brood over something the doctor said to you or how they said it. You may want to sue your past doctors. Maybe you're obsessing or you're blaming yourself. Flight, avoidance, anxiety, helplessness, fear. Maybe you isolate yourself. Freeze, denial, numbing, giving up easily. Maybe you're in shock and speechless and you go blank. But when you return to normal, you can think again, learn, problem solve, seek out others, talk about it, maybe even research your options. So let's go back to, is this just going off by itself? Because I haven't been doing it. It's where I want it to be though. Okay, so let's go back to caveman time. And this time there's a sound in the bushes. There's no tiger, but the sound in the bushes reminds you of the tiger. And your amygdala goes into action, even if there's nothing there. That's post-traumatic stress disorder. Has this ever happened to you? Do you have triggers that bring you back to your cancer experience? So what are some of your triggers? Just shout them out.
Smell.
Your spouse?
Yeah. Smell.
Oh, smell. Okay. Smells, like that happened to me when I went back into a hospital after my first operation. The smells got me. Scans coming up. What else? What's a trigger?
Walking into the hospital.
Just going to the hospital, even if everything's okay, right? How about looking at your medical records online?
Administrative.
Okay, and administrative stuff. Okay. So those are triggers that bring back post-traumatic stress disorder. Write down your triggers so that you're aware of them in the future. Okay, depression goes hand in hand with a cancer diagnosis. These are SPEC, not PET. These are SPEC scans of a depressed and healthy brain. The one on the left is the depressed brain, and it's underactive. Can you see that? It's not making the neurotransmitters that it should make. And I can't read that. Oh, here. You have a slowing down of thought, trouble concentrating or making decisions, loss of energy, loss of interest or pleasure, feeling worthless. Sometimes people feel guilty, change in appetite, depressed mood most of the day and every day. So it's not just, I feel down right now. It's something that lingers. There's a biological basis to major depression. It's a disturbance within the normal, healthy chemical neurotransmitters in the brain. Your brain's an organ, just like your heart, your liver, and your kidneys. It can be damaged by chronic stress. If you recognize these symptoms, get help. Don't suffer. And go to a psychiatrist, not your primary care doctor. A psychiatrist is a medical doctor trained in the neurochemistry of your brain. So some of you may know that I suffered a major depression after I was diagnosed, and I thought it was a saying, too depressed to get out of bed. I felt like I had weights on my arms and my legs, and even taking a shower took tremendous effort. So finally, I did get to a psychiatrist, and it took 2 years to get the right combination of antidepressants and the right dose of them. So don't give up. If you try one and it doesn't work, maybe you need a higher dose, or maybe you need another one. I'm on a cocktail of 3 different ones, and I've never felt better. Here I am. Ta-da! Okay. So back to the amygdala hijack. Say you're in the green zone with your friends, and you look at the calendar and realize, scan is coming up next week. Trigger. The adrenaline rushes in, your heart pounds, your mouth gets dry, your stomach rumbles, you get shaky, you panic, and you can't think. So what can you do? The first thing to do is self-regulate from the bottom up. You have to calm your body down, because anxiety and fear is very physical. It starts in the amygdala. It's part of your brain, and it's talking to your brain stem, and it's making your heart rate go up, your breathing go up. So you have to start with your body and calm it down. Calm that chihuahua down. So deep breathing is absolutely what you have to do. Slow, deep breathing. There's a lot of grounding exercises on the internet, like mindfulness. There's many other kind of meditations, stretching and exercise, calm music. For me, it's a hot bath, but you have to do something to calm your body down. You have to start there. Repeat after me, calm your body down, all right? Here's a quickie. You can always hold up your 10 fingers like they're birthday candles and blow each out slowly. You always have that with you no matter where you are. You can try this, cross your arms and squeeze, and think of feelings of peace and safety. Do that right now. Cross your arms, shut your eyes, and conjure up feelings of peace and safety. Congratulations, you just gave yourself a hug. Okay, this is where I am. I have a lot of information, so I have notes here. But bottom line, you have to start with your physical body and calm your amygdala down. The second thing you can do, did that jump again? The second thing you can do, once you've calmed your chihuahua down, is you can think again. And now you can calm your racing thoughts. And by the way, that Calm is an app you can get on your phone. It's very helpful. So then you can do self-regulation from the top down and calm your mind. One thing that therapists tell you to do is name it to tame it. So say it out loud. I'm feeling scared, and this is why. Better yet, tell somebody else. I'm feeling scared, and this is why. Reach out to other people. You can visualize what you want. You can do some problem solving. You can make some changes and practice thought control. So cognitive behavior therapy, or CBT, says that thoughts affect your feelings, and your feelings affect your behavior. And all three of these talk to each other and influence each other. A change in one will affect all. This is the only therapy I recommend. It's empirically proven to work. It's proactive and forward-moving, and you can get quick results. Easier said than done. How do you change your thoughts when you're in a panic mode? So one thing you can do is relish good feelings. What makes you smile? Just yell it out.
Sunshine.
Kids, sunshine. What else?
My husband.
Your husband?
My horse.
Your horse. I like that one. What else? Exercise. How about babies, puppies? Anything like that? They make you smile? A pretty flower? What do they all have in common? They're positive. What else? They're free. You don't have to have a lot of money to have some good feelings, folks. You can conjure it up, or you can find it in the world, except for the husband one. That one's exclusive to Macy. Oh, I don't know. He's over here. Does he make you smile? Okay. So Winnie the Pooh and Piglet were walking through the forest. And Piglet said, "Supposing a tree fell down, Pooh, when we were underneath it." After careful thought, Pooh said, "Supposing it didn't." And Piglet was comforted by this. So what the moral of this story is, worry is just your imagination about the future. Worry is just your imagination about the future. And hope is imagination about the future for the better. All right? So our brains are wired to find negative things. You know how easy it is to find things to criticize or things that go wrong when you're in a new place? That's because it keeps us safe. Our minds are looking out for danger and trouble, and that kept us alive for many, many thousands of years, I should say. So it takes a lot of effort to try to imagine something going right. It's hard. It's hard. But if you practice it, more and more you can make, that wasn't supposed to pop up. More and more you can make those pictures in your head and rehearse those. So try to imagine something going right in the situation you're nervous about, because it's all about imagination. It hasn't happened yet. Okay? So get rid of negativity around you, and this is your homework. Make a list of drainers and gainers in your life. Drainers are things that bring you down. Maybe it's chores you've put off, negative news stories, toxic people. For me, it's clothes that don't fit, clutter, all right? Make your own list of stuff that robs your energy, and then make another list of things that give you energy, gainers. Buying fresh flowers, maybe it's finishing that project, dinner with friends, yoga or exercise. Maybe it's being in nature. So this is your homework. Make a list of drainers and gainers, and try to get rid of the drainers and add more gainers in your life. Okay, ants. I love little ants. Ants are automatic negative thoughts. Anybody have them? Yeah, right? Okay, they're the little voices in your head that are negative and self-limiting. Ants were created when you were very young. They are scared of change, and ants are just trying to keep you safe in their mind. So what do you do when you have a negative thought? You nurture and reassure it just like it's a little kid. I had a conference in Florida, our last one, and I rented a 14-person van that I had to drive. I mean, this thing was mega. And I was scared to death. I was going to drive this van, and my aunts were coming out all over. You can't drive that van. You'll kill those people. So I had to talk very, very sweet to it. And I said, you can do it. You can ask for help. People will help, and they did. And think of a time you were brave. You can do it again. So you want to nurture and reassure your ants. I keep hitting it the wrong way. Okay, so this one we're going to do together. I want you to, in your programs, there's a blank page in the back. And I want you to rip that out. Oh, it might be the back page itself or the one before it. Oh, the one before it. Okay, so rip it out. All right. And get a pen. All right, and what I want you to do is put a line down the middle of that paper. I don't care if it's horizontal or vertical, just make a line, divide it in half. And on one half, I want you to write what I can't control. So an example might be traffic, rude people, long waits at the doctor's office, losing my hair, feeling tired. So make a list for yourself. Just get one or two down for the sake of time. What you can't control. And on the other side, write what I can control. Maybe it's who I spend time with, asking for help, taking a walk. I can choose my doctors, taking my medication, getting to bed early. I can control my thoughts. Everybody got one or two on each side? I'll wait a minute. Just look up when you're done. Okay? I want you to rip that paper on the line. So rip it in half. Separate the two lists. Okay. Looks like everybody did that. Now I want you to take the side that said what I can't control and put it in your hand. Raise it up. All right, now I want you to scrunch it into a ball. And I want you to throw it over your shoulder. Go ahead, let it go, let it go. Throw it over. Oh, don't hang on to it. Let it go, let it go. Okay, don't pick up somebody else's problem. No, no. So sometimes when I'm at work with my coworkers and they're complaining about something or upset about something, we make this gesture. You know, throw it over your shoulder, let it go. All the husbands will be doing that tonight. They'll say, let it go. Okay, next one. If you're feeling crappy, you know that crappy feeling and you're not sure why, nothing really bad happened, but you're just kind of having a crappy day, I want you to think about your perspective. And usually you're in one of these bottom two boxes. You have the perspective of a victim or angry teen. That's in my hand. The victim is full of ants. They have a lot of complaints. They kind of feel like poor me. There's no answer to their problems. Let's see. There's a lot of doom and gloom, and they make a lot of excuses. The angry teenager is angry. They complain nonstop. Maybe they lash out. Sometimes they can be hurtful. They definitely pout and hold resentments. So if you feel like you're stuck in these bottom ones, I want you to step up into the top boxes. The big picture. The big picture is like puzzle pieces. You can see all the little parts of the situation, other people's feelings and their perspectives, or maybe the facts, and you can step back and see the bigger picture. And acceptance is another perspective. Well, it's just understanding there are things bigger than you, and you really don't have a choice but accept the situation. See that little "you are here"? That's where we are. So I want to go back. So if you're feeling crappy, try to step up in one of the upper boxes. So I call these happy chemicals. The neurotransmitters in your brain make a lot of happy chemicals. Dopamine, and there are ways to do it without taking drugs. Dopamine gives you energy and alertness, pleasure, reward, motivation, drive, appetite, and learning and motor control. And you can get that with exercise and a couple of those sources of food that I listed. Serotonin controls your happiness, your impulse control, your memory, feelings of confidence and importance. It helps with sleep and learning. And you can get that with sunlight and exercise. Endorphins, those are those brief bursts of euphoria and well feelings that you get, like runner's high, and they help block pain. You can get those with exercise, laughter, crying, that's why it feels good after a good cry, and high excitement, like a roller coaster. Norepinephrine helps control stress, your concentration, your attention, your energy, motivation, and a sense of well-being. You can get that with exercise, meditation, chili peppers, and ultraviolet light. Oxytocin, which is my favorite, because that's the love chemical. It helps with trust, bonding, empathy, social ties, relaxation, and being kind to other people. You can get that with partner dancing, group singing, we did that, touch, kissing and hugging, and group activities. All right. So what do all of these happy chemicals, what's a source they all have in common? What'd you say? No, what's one thing you can do to get all of these? Exercise. They all have exercise. The bottom one is tricky because it says partner dancing, which is exercise, right? So exercise is guaranteed to raise your levels of these happy chemicals, these neurotransmitters. Okay. And if you can't feel any joy ever, then get help, all right? And if your ants come out and they think you're crazy or something like that, you tell them, it's okay, Sharon takes them. Gratitude is the soil that joy grows in. When you feel gratitude, you have instant joy. And this can be a real lifesaver. Try to go about your day looking for things to be grateful for. When something bad happens, just see if you can find something in there that was right that you can be grateful for. And try to have a journal, a gratitude journal, where every day you write down things that went right and what you're grateful for. And it can change your whole perspective of the world. Instant therapy, it's very cheap. Okay. And what's the number one thing you can do to heal trauma and feel safe? Connections to others. So scientists have studied a lot of different cultures around the world, and this is the number one thing that people report in terms of their happiness is their connection to others. So that could be our Facebook group, right? You can see your friends and family more often. What's another example? You can join groups. Yeah, problem solving with people, okay. Getting a therapist. But number one way to help to heal trauma is connections to others. Okay, so let's go back and do a recap. So just to remember, trauma and triggers in the amygdala hijack, that our primal physical response to danger is anxiety. It helped us in the past, not so helpful now. First thing to do is to regulate yourself from the bottom up. You have to calm your body down. Slow down your breathing, slow down your heart rate. Listen to music, take hot baths, have a hug. And then you can regulate yourself top down to calm your mind. And a way to do that is practice thought control. Your thoughts and feelings and behavior all affect each other. But you can use your imagination and visualize things being okay. You can nurture your ants. You can change your perspective into the big picture or acceptance. You can make behavioral changes. You can get rid of your drainers and add more gainers. Control what you can and let go what you can't control. And when it comes to depression, it's a lack of the happy chemicals, the neurotransmitters. You can exercise to increase them and increase your feeling of well-being and get help if needed. Practice gratitude for instant joy and connection with others to heal trauma and feel safe. And if you want to feel one of those today, just be nice to someone today and you'll get an instant high. Okay, so I leave you with this quote. If we don't change, we don't grow. If we don't grow, we aren't really living. Thank you very much. So I'm not going to take questions because of our time limit, but we'll go with our next speaker.
Thank you very much, Sharon. So our next speaker is Bettina.
Bettina, do you have slides at all? No. Okay. It's just me. Okay. We'll just give you a microphone and you can have your way.
So Bettina, I'll give you this microphone when I'm finished. Thank you very much. So I'd like to introduce Bettina Falkenberg. She is an experienced emotional freedom technique international practitioner and trainer, mentor, neurolinguistic programming practitioner, and hypnotherapist. She holds diplomas in integrated energy techniques and energy healing. She embraces people in difficult situations, cancer, loss, hopelessness, chronic disease, physical and emotional pain, and teaches them how to find peace and joy through love and self-acceptance. So using the mind and body connection, she helps clients tap into their unconsciousness and unconscious power and free themselves from old trauma and negative talk to return to their true present self. So I'd like to introduce Bettina. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Feel a bit close here. Never mind. Yes, my name is Bettina Falkenberg. As Macy said, EFT practitioner and trainer. Actually, Sharon's wonderful presentation leads me to immediately change mine a bit and say, you just said you would only recommend CBT, really.
Oh, no, I would recommend yours too.
Thank you. Because I want to fly the torch, if you say that. Talk therapy.
Okay.
For the one reason that EFT combines parts of cognitive therapy with physical aspects. And that's what makes the difference. And we know, don't worry, I'm not going to speak much about research and studies, even though we have a lot. You've done that enough today. But I just want to mention that they have done studies comparing EFT and CBT for depression, for example. The results are just as good in terms of getting better. The only difference is EFT works faster, considerably faster, and the results last longer. I.e., if you go back 12 months later, many more people who are still better on EFT. Okay, that was my little advertisement, so to speak. Just to go, how many of you here are familiar with EFT? I found someone else earlier. I think she's gone home, unfortunately. Not too many. Okay, EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. This was coined in California. For English ears, it might sound a little bit hippie, but actually, it does exactly what it says on the tin, Emotional Freedom Techniques, i.e. all these overwhelming negative emotions that Sharon just talked about. By using the basics of EFT, you can help yourself to deal with them and to move through them and to free yourself of them, essentially. Manage them at the very least. And the way that works is by, you might have heard of EFT as tapping as well, is by tapping, we tap with 2 fingers on acupuncture points. Just a limited number of acupuncture points. You don't go down to your toes or somewhere, just on the face and upper body, easy to reach. And tapping on these acupuncture points actually sends a signal to the amygdala, you know, that the stress, anxiety, little chihuahua, and says, calm down. And again, we know that from scientific trials. You know, they've looked at people in functional MRIs in their brains while they were tapping. So that's what happens. The very simple action of tapping calms the stress response when your nervous system goes into this fight and flight, the sympathetic, you know, blood rushes to your extremities, and it's not in your brain anymore, so you can't think. It's not in your gut. You can't rest and recover. You can't digest, okay? So you have to bring the blood back. You have the whole system back in balance before you can think again, before you can make a logical decision about maybe what treatment route you want to go down when you've just heard, you know, the C word, for example. And as a therapist, I work a lot with cancer patients, not only with patients, also with their carers and families, but also I run groups for health professionals because I'm so super passionate about getting this sort of work integrated into mainstream medicine. The medicine we get is fabulous, but what's missing is sort of the in-between. And you wouldn't believe, or you probably would, how often I just work with my clients on, that's what the doctor said to me, you know, and that's this initial shock of the diagnosis and how that was delivered. And other things we work on very often is side effects of treatments, you know, the fear of the treatment, and then the side effects. you can, after this session today, you can pick up the basics and you can help yourself with emotions that are running high, but also sort of with things like, side effects of treatments, hormonal hot flushes, nausea from chemotherapy and all these things. Yeah. So far so good. So what I would like, we have time for questions afterwards, but I would like you to get a bit of experience of tapping and how it feels like, if that's okay. Yeah. So I think I'm going to go behind because I feel I'm a bit too much in your face. So what I'm going to ask you in a moment, I'm going to ask you to take a deep breath. Now, as Sharon has just explained, we know that deep breathing is associated with being calmer. Being calmer means your whole system is more in balance, There's nothing wrong with going into the fight and flight when you have a reason to be stressed. In order to be healthy and well, you need to easily come out of that and go back into the rest and recovery. Sort of how easy that works, how smooth is healthy and is important. And as I say, the rest and relax system is associated with calm breathing. So what I want to do in this little exercise, or I should rather say demonstration, where you get to tap on yourself and hopefully notice some sort of difference, we want to focus on the breath. Now, if you like to, it might be nice to get up, have a bit more room, but you don't need to, you can also tap sitting down. Sorry. So, how are we going to tap? We take 2 fingers of normally the dominant hand. It doesn't really matter. 2 fingers. And we tap on acupuncture points that I will show you in a moment. Yeah? And I will say things, and I would invite you to speak out loud after me, because the tapping action itself is good for you. The tapping action itself sends the signal to the amygdala saying, calm down, it's nothing to worry about. But speaking out loud makes it more powerful because more of your brain is engaged with what you're doing here. And also by speaking about what the issue is you want to address, you don't just calm generally, you focus the calming on what you want to address. And that could be, if you have to go to see the doctor tomorrow for the results of the scan, that's what you want to talk about, and tap at the same time. So you calm down in relation, funneled onto this particular problem. Okay? So that combination, talking out loud, if you can't always when you're in public. And the tapping is what we do. So, sorry. I would like to invite you now to take a deep breath. Hang on, don't hold it. Don't force it. This is not a breathing exercise. So not in for 8, hold for 8, out for 8, okay? It's just, as you're sitting there, just take the deepest breath you can without forcing it and just notice how that feels. Just notice how in your body you feel that. How far down does it go? What's happening? We just want to notice what the body says, more or less. It's a mind-body thing, right? And maybe do it again, in through the nose, don't force it. And let it go again. And now on a scale of 0 to 10, when 0 means I'm not breathing, I'm holding my breath. And 10 is the deepest breath you could ever take. Usain Bolt after the gold medal win, properly pumped. How deep was this breath that you've just taken? Just give me the first number that springs to mind. That's always the right one. Yeah, well, we're all sitting here, been sitting for a while, so, far away from the gold medal win right now, but 4. I hear 4s a lot. Doesn't matter. So this number, just keep it somewhere stored in the back of your mind. And now we're going to tap on the fact that you're breathing right now as a 4. And we see what happens. Okay? You up for that? Okay. So, 2 fingers of the tapping hand. This microphone is a little bit in my way, but never mind, we'll work around it. And you begin by tapping on the side of the other hand. This edge there. Not on top, someone tapped on top, that's a completely different point, very useful as well. Side of the hand. This is where we say our setup statement, and the setup statement right now goes something like, even though this breath I just took was not my deepest breath yet, I'm okay. Even though this breath I just took was just a 4, that's okay, I'm breathing. Even though this breath I just took was not my deepest breath yet, I love and accept myself anyway. And just notice whether anyone finds it difficult to say I love myself, but that's a different story. Okay, that was the setup statement. Now we take our 2 fingers and we begin tapping what we call the round. Starts where the eyebrow meets the bridge of the nose. So the specs have to we have to work around it. It's not the third eye, it's either here or here, depending whether you tap left or right, okay? Where the eyebrow meets the bridge of the nose. And here we repeat the problem, so to speak. The problem is that the breath is only a 4 right now. So, this breath I just took. Side of the eye, right in the corner of the eye, bony bit. Yeah, exactly there. It's not my fullest breath yet. Under the eye on the bone. That's okay, I'm breathing. Under the nose. This breath I just took. Sorry. Under the lip and the chin crease. This breath I just took. Something is in the way of my fullest breath. Next point is right at the end in the middle of the collarbone. So again, either here or here. No, sort of there where the collarbone ends in the middle. Not there, there. Yeah. This breath I just took. It was a 4. That's okay. I'm breathing. Next point is where the bra strap is. Sort of a hand width below the, men know that as well. Ladies have one on, I suppose. If you find that uncomfortable, you can leave that away. My body knows how to breathe. Last point of the round is right on the crown of the head. My body breathes even in the middle of the night. When I'm asleep. Nothing I need to do. So now we're going back to the first point. My body knows how to breathe. I'm breathing right now. Under the eye again. And I notice how the air is streaming in through my nostrils. And I notice how my belly expands when I breathe in. Next point. And then it sinks down again. My body knows how to breathe. And with every breath, my blood gets saturated with this wonderful, nourishing oxygen. Top of the head, and every beat of my heart sends this wonderfully energizing oxygen. First point again. To every single cell of my body. There's nothing I need to do. My body knows what to do. And I wonder whether I can allow my shoulders to drop just a tiny little bit. Allow the small muscles in my throat and chest to soften a little bit. Under the, I've forgotten this one, doesn't matter if you forget one. Allowing my body to breathe. Nothing I need to do. Breathing deeply. And effortlessly. Okay, thank you very much for playing along. So, that was 5 minutes, probably a bit less. Same thing again, I would like you just to take the same sort of breath that you did before. No competition here. Just notice whether you feel different in any way at all. We just always want to know what's going on with the body. Anyone? If you take a deep breath, do you feel different? In which way?
I feel like my lungs are expanding
Mm-hmm.
quite a bit more. Without any effort, I took more breath in.
Yeah. Anyone feel it's more than or deeper than a 4? A lot of them had 4 before. What I find a lot is that when people, sort of yogis who breathe very well anyway, if they start out with a 9 and you think, oh, there's not much you can do, and they will still say afterwards, if they try it again, oh, it felt a little bit smoother. It felt just a little bit easier. Felt just a little bit deeper. So the reason I wanted to show you this is that this 5-minute technique, and I appreciate you might feel a bit self-conscious about it, but hey, if it works. If done every day is ideal, twice a day is even better, but we're talking 5 minutes after getting up or before going to bed or after lunch or something, is something that balances your autonomic nervous system. That whether you're in a heightened state of anxiety or something or not, will actually improve you're moving from sympathetic into parasympathetic and back, and calm your whole system down. And that means, as Sharon said earlier, you can think, that helps break this constant sort of story that's going on up there, because you're focusing on your body, really. And just like you can exercise your muscles, and you need to exercise your muscles, this exercises, the smooth workings and the flexibility and the power of your autonomic nervous system. And so it really, over time, increases your, I like to say, chill factor, properly you would call it resilience, which means it doesn't mean that you're never going to be upset by anything again, but you're probably not as quickly upset and as easily by little triggers. And when you get upset, you know what to do. You go in and you tap, so you learn, you get more confidence in that you're not a helpless victim of your overwhelming emotions, but you can actually self-soothe without reaching for the alcohol, the sugar, the food, the online gaming, even being a workaholic, whatever we do to distract. So how do you apply that in real life? As I just said, you could do a little routine like I've just shown you. Morning, evening, once, twice a day will make a difference. You'll notice that after 2-3 weeks. And the other thing you can do is that in the moment when you get triggered, and that could be, you get the appointment for the next, seeing the doctor the next time or something like that, or when you have your next scan, you can sit down and you can simply feel, oh my God, what's happening to me right now? Getting all lump in the throat and tight in the chest or whatever, you just go in and you tap. And if you don't know what to say, that's fine. I have here some little leaflets that give you a reminder of where the points are and what to say. But if you don't know what to say, you can simply go points and tap and breathe. Better than nothing, okay? The other thing you can do, which is, I love it and it's really helpful, really wonderful, you can actually just let out what's in your mind. I don't want to go there. I hate it. I've had enough of it. I don't want it anymore. I hate it. Any F words in there? Fantastic. Use them. I'm not saying do this in front of a school class. Do this in front of your doctor. Do that in the middle of the market square. I'm saying do this in the privacy of your own home, in your room. You acknowledge how you really feel. And then you say to yourself, and I love and accept myself anyway, because it's okay to feel like this, And that's an example I like to give is, the husband has upset you again. Someone said spouse earlier, not spouse, but it sounded like spouse. Husband said something. You know it's a little thing, but you get upset. You're annoyed. You feel like you want to take the frying pan to his head. I'm not saying do, I mean, what you want to do is you want to save your marriage, not kill him. Would get you into trouble with the law. No, but what you say to yourself is not, Bettina, pull yourself together, because that just tells myself to shut up and not acknowledge what's really true for me right now. What you want to do is you want to go to the privacy of your room and you want to say, I want to take the frying pan to his head. This bastard. No matter what, it doesn't matter. It's for, you don't tell anyone. You're acknowledging yourself, how you feel. And I guarantee you, after 2 or 3 rounds of doing this, suddenly you wonder what all the fuss was about. Because I want to say a word about positivity as well, but I wanted to ask first whether there are any questions. I wonder whether I'm confusing you terribly with my examples here, which have nothing to do with cancer. Yes, Sharon.
Does it matter if you mix up the order?
No, not really. I mean, there is a reason we use these points. They all have one purpose. If you have to leave out one, because, for example, I work a lot with breast cancer patients, if this one is, then you leave it out. If you forget one, it's always more important to tap than not to tap. So one thing you can do, for example, that you can take away now, even if you never want to hear about this constricted breathing technique again for 3 rounds. Remember your 2 fingers here, not 1 finger, 2 fingers. And you can, you're sitting on the bus, going to the doctor's office, you're sitting in the waiting room. And you're like, of course, you don't want to be sitting there and speaking out loud in front of everybody, even though I'm so scared and I can't bear it anymore and I want to run away. You're not going to do that in public, even though no one will notice because they're all in their phones, but you're not going to do it. So what you can do is you can sit there, you feel how you feel, and then you just do this. You can do it on a point that's inconspicuous here. Or you do it here. Or a nice one is also on the fingers, because we have also points on the fingers. I need to put this down. If you hold your non-dominant hand in front of you, take a finger, index finger, if you tap on the side of your fingernail, and it's the side that faces you, so that's how you know it. Those are the points. And I do this. I do it a bit differently. I don't use one hand or the other. I do it like this. I just tap with my thumb on my other fingers, on the side of the finger. I do this every night when I watch the news. Not because of the news. I mean, you want to calm down when you watch the news, but that's just my anchor, so to speak. That's when I do it. So I get about 10, 20, 30 minutes of doing this in every night. And I don't even think about it, okay? So I'm not focusing it in on my husband or on something else that bothers me. I'm just telling my amygdala, it's fine, everything's fine, okay? And that has made huge differences in my life. And it's super easy. You can do it when you walk the dog, when you're sitting on the bus, or, as I say, I do it when I watch the news. If you don't remember anything else other than that, it has literally, I'm going to tell you that, again, nothing to do with cancer, but I'd had a nervous tic for 50 plus years. I used to sort of, when I was nervous and bored, I used to knead my ear as other people sort of, pull their hair or something like that. I used to knead my ear. The problem was just it was red and inflamed and painful. And also it looked quite silly. My mum always said, you look like a monkey, when you do this. Yeah, my mum was a bit of a cruel one, but never mind. And I couldn't let go of it. And it never even occurred to me to try and let go of it because it belonged to me. And I started doing this 12 years ago or whenever it was. And 2.5 weeks later, I'm sitting in front of the news and I'm thinking, I'm not doing this anymore. It had simply fallen away without me thinking about it. And why? My guess is, I'm always so aware that you are sitting here and I'm talking here about things as if I knew anything about, science, but never mind. My guess is that I'm just soothing. This was soothing, there are lots of nerves going around the head. this was soothing. This is soothing, but in a much healthier way. No? And it simply completely just fell away. So if you take nothing away from here, then this tapping action, whether you do it here with 2 fingers or you do it here, is really, really good to balance your nervous system and keep you where you want to be, in a balance, you know. So yes, you can go into anxiety when there's a reason for it, but you come out again, you know. Okay, one more thing I want to say, because I think it's really important. I get asked quite often, why do we tap on the negative? You know, as I said, why do I tap? I want to take a frying pan to his head, rather than tap, oh, he means well, it's not such a big issue. Any idea why I might not do that? I'm not acknowledging what's really true for me, because you know, the positive is beautiful. We all know, empirically, if nothing else, that when we feel well, when everything is hunky-dory, you know, the world looks better. My guess is we heal better, probably, because we're not like, you know. The thing is, if I say to you, just stop it, think positive, you know. It needs to land. And it's, I think of it a little bit like a garden, you know. Which flowers will flower more nicely? The ones where you weed it first, you know, or while they're trying to grow? Or the ones where you say to them, you know, let's ignore the weeds, just grow, be positive, grow, you know. It will not enforce the negative. It will not. You're just acknowledging what's really true for you, what's going on in this moment, and by tapping with that, or we say tapping on this issue, you acknowledge it, and actually it whooshes through so quickly, and then the positive thoughts, they come up anyway. You know, you tap around, and I want to take the frying pan to his head, and then you start laughing about yourself, you know, 2 rounds later. That's just how it works. Yes, I think I'm pretty much there.
We have time to do another one?
What do you mean, another tapping?
Yeah.
Would we have? What would you like to tap on?
Positivity.
Okay, how about we tap on, how would that sound to you if I say we tap on the struggle to be positive all the time? Because I hear that a lot, that my clients say to me, I need to be positive. If I'm positive, I can beat this. And of course, it's impossible to be positive all the time. So, well, let's do that. I need to put this down. I hope it will work. I just shouted you. Okay, let's just tap side of the hand, 2 fingers again. Who can relate to this? I need to be positive. And I can't be positive all the time. And how does that feel in your body when you think that?
Oh, it's tight
Tight. Where is it tight?
in my chest.
In your chest. The tightness in your chest?
Yes.
Can you say how tight? 0 to 10? Not important if you can't.
I feel my chest is a 8.
Oh, okay. Even though I can't be positive all the time.
Even though I can't be positive all the time.
I'm breathing.
I'm breathing.
Even though I can't be positive all the time.
Even though I can't be positive.
And that feels really tight in my chest.
And that feels really tight.
I completely and deeply
I completely and deeply
love and accept myself anyway.
love and accept myself.
Even though I want to be positive and I can't be all the time.
Even though I want to be positive, I can't be all the time.
I'm okay.
I'm okay.
Okay, 3 times setup statement, even though I have this problem, I love and accept myself. So, 2 fingers again. I wish I could be positive all the time.
I wish I could be positive all the time.
Side of the eye. I know it's good to be positive.
I know it's good to be positive.
I watched all these Joe Dispenza programs. These people are positive, they can beat it.
These people are positive, they can beat it.
I just wish I could do it.
I wish I could do it.
Sometimes I can.
Sometimes I can.
I'm trying.
I'm trying.
But it is quite overwhelming.
But it is quite overwhelming.
And there are moments when I can't be positive.
There are moments I can't be positive.
And I choose to be gentle with myself.
And I choose to be gentle with myself.
Acknowledging how I feel. It's hard to be positive all the time. It's okay not to be positive all the time. I give myself permission not to be positive all the time. I'm just true to myself. I'm human. Okay, we can just leave it here.
Oh, that's very nice. Thank you.
So you may have seen, we start with just saying, I'm not positive, and we can sort of get a bit softer then, in the, well, maybe I can, maybe I am. Oh, look, I feel a bit better. We just take it where it goes. Thank you for tapping along. Any more questions? If anyone wants to have a reminder of the tapping points, they're here. There's also a little sort of intro example, I would say, of how you can tap. That's all. And if you have any questions that you can think of later, pop me an email. Happy to answer it. Thank you so much for...
I just want to mention there's a book, even though I have cancer.
Should have brought that today.
I should have brought it myself.
Silly me. Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
a book, and it all has scripts for cancer patients. So even though I have cancer, it's called.
Yeah, if you're curious about exploring this further, this book, Even Though I Have Cancer, by Emma Roberts, who's my trainer, has sort of, I would say, probably all possible scenarios what a cancer patient could go through with, and suggests how you could tap around that. Because sometimes it's difficult to, remember how to tap, and then, what am I going to say there? So it gives you ideas. Yeah, thank you for that. I should have thought of that myself. Thank you so much.
Can we just say a great thank you? Thank you so much.
So I want to get a group picture. Don't leave.
I don't know how to switch it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I think Sharon's going to take a photo.
Okay,
And
doll up.
Where shall I go there?
Yeah, anywhere you want. Let's see if we can do this. Oh, the lighting is...
we have a little something for you, Bettina. So it's just here.
Oh my gosh, I can't even get you all in. Okay. Ready? I'm going to say cheese. 1, 2, 3, cheese. Gotcha. Thank you.
So I think it just had a few more. I think that was it. We were just going to say, oh, no, wrong way. This way. So next steps wise, we will check with the speakers to see if they're okay for us to share the slides.
Yes.
And so we are hoping that we'll be able to share the slides and recordings where possible for those that were unable to join us today. And I believe we're going to try and make it available on the LMSDR website. So if you do have any questions, following on from today's conference, then please do email the LMSDR email address. If there are any specific questions that you thought of that you wanted to ask any of the speakers, that might be something that we might be able to follow up on as well. But so just a final word of thanks. Thank you very much to you all for coming and joining us today. And